All right, so today's video, we're going to be watching a Gold 2 Diva Orisa Sigma Ramatra. Now, I wanted to watch this game because this is one of those games where it sounds like there was a bit of a difference of playstyle between the tank and the support. I'll explain in a minute here. Description. It wasn't my best game, but also it wasn't my worst. I don't play competitive often, but recently I've wanted to get better. I feel like the whole match was pretty even for the most part. However, the Moira kept insisting I wasn't doing anything. There was one point where our Kiriko was alive against all 5 of the other team, and when I didn't push in to die with her, she insisted that I do something and complained that she had more damage than me. Honestly, the Kiriko was pretty good from what I could see and was keeping me alive, but I'm not the best judge of skill in this game, so who knows? Our 1 DPS gave a couple helpful suggestions, hence the multiple swaps, and we did get the win in the end, so we know there's going to be a win here. I guess I want to know, was I doing nothing and getting hard carried? And if so, how could I improve? So it sounds like the Moira was saying they're doing nothing. The Kiriko was saying they were doing nothing. And then the DPS was trying to help them figure out heroes that could work. So that's where we're at right now. We'll see how it goes. I'm ready to watch this. Oh, the Kiriko was fine? Oh, so you're saying the... Okay, so just to get this, you said the Kiriko was fine. Just the Moira. So the Moira. Okay, so just the Moira was saying that the Kiriko, that you needed to do something when the Kiriko went in. Okay, I gotcha. All right, here we go. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm gonna be real with you. At the beginning there, when you're on the bridge and they're right there, you're not doing much because like your damage isn't gonna be effective. Like, taking the high ground there is good because you can maintain that bridge, but after a second, you need to get out of there and, like, start to take map control. Sapphire, thanks for getting this up. Thank you, appreciate it. Thank you. So far, what's happening, and I'm watching this, I'm trying to see. Take top left. 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 That or server. You get out of the cart area right now. Just to give you an idea, by the way, and I've talked about this all the time whenever we play this map. There's 2 strengths of, like, Gibraltar on attack. Taking server control. This is server. You hear me talk about it all the time when I'm playing ranked that you need to maintain this. Or taking high ground. You don't even have to worry about the cart. Once the cart's here, you're fine. They want to play like this comp that stands here and just spams you out, right? So, like, you take the high ground, they lose a ton of value. You take server, they lose a ton of value. But if you sit here on the cart, you're playing into their strat. You're going to play into what the team wants to play. So you need to set up. Like, to your right, the soldiers and server, right? Server, to your right. To your right. The reason why this is starting off so difficult for your team is because you're not taking map control. Technically, you have map control, but you're not taking the map control. I think I've explained it correctly. Like, you have high ground, but you're not taking high ground. You're like, whatever. I'm not going high ground. Take away the high ground from them. Take away server. They're stuck on one part of the map. It's easier for everybody in your team. Straight up. There you go. Nice. Like this. Now, go right side. Also, your Moira just ran to the cart. That's on your Moira. All right? Actually, I don't even know where your Moira went. Why is there a Sigma ult? Good ult. Worked out. Tough start. Your team needs to go high ground. I'm telling you right now, the only reason why that team's dominating is because you're giving them every... Imagine you're playing... Like, I can give you an example. You're playing King's Row. The other team does not play the point. They all play around you, and you don't ever go for high ground, and you try to get people under, like the little... You know, like, on first point, you're trying to get people in, like, that back left area when you're on attack. Imagine nobody's there, and you're still trying to take that part of the map, and they're all spamming you, and you're not doing anything about it. That's basically the equivalent of what you're doing on Gibraltar. Because you're not taking high ground, and you're letting them just sit there, like... Okay, there you go. Nice. I like that adjustment. We're not going to talk about, like, the movement or the aim or anything like that. I like that you took the high ground. Also, you do not need to go in front of that window as Baby D.Va. DMing, you can DM that from the high ground for the most part. Nice job going in. Do me a favor next time. If you have any DM your Reaper during that. And also fly towards your Reaper at the same time. You're like, why would you fly towards the Reaper? Are you kidding me? Like, why? Because you can accidentally absorb a bunch of damage and or get hit by the Sigma Rock, which will then give your teammate the full Reaper ult. Sometimes as a tank, it's what you gotta do, right? Sometimes you gotta go and get rocked by the Sigma. Yep, same thing with Pharah. I do the same thing. Nice job going for the soldier. First Squall, thanks for the tier 1. Thank you, appreciate it. Thanks to tier 1. Want me to make a better player? Heck yes, I'd like to hear. Okay. So, Gibraltar is a very high ground dominant map. Go up there with your Reaper. Warrior will push cart, go up there with the Reaper. There we go, nice job. I don't know what you're shooting at right now. Am I missing something? I don't... Is there a Sombra? Okay. So I want to point something out here. And I think this is a good team fight. You were asking, like, you know, what are things that you can do to improve? And if we went back and watched that whole, like, last 15 seconds, 20 seconds of this specific scenario, you spent the whole time shooting at walls, not really going for high ground, and then your team went in and made a play. There needs to be a decision-making there when you're playing D.Va, because if you're not going in, and you're not taking high ground, and you're just shooting at walls, you're not really going to be doing anything as D.Va right there. Sometimes I'll hit tab and be like, okay, my Reaper has ult. Okay, my Reaper's going in. I know my Reaper's going to ult. Whether or not they tell me, DM the Reaper. There's plays that you can make and do, but you have to, and it can happen on any hero. You get caught in this, like, stand there and wait for something to happen while kind of not really doing anything. As D.Va, one really good habit you can get into is always trying to do something, whether it's outside of pushing the card. I mean, chat watches me enough to know I push the card all day long. Whether it's being with your supports, whether it's taking high ground, whether it's pushing the card, whether it's being aggressive for your teammate. If you start to continue to do stuff like that, you'll start to improve a lot more in D.Va. What's happening now is you still don't know which one. Like right now, you don't need to be on the card. You could actually go for that Sigma, but instead you're doing... Take away the left side high ground, please. Nice, good job. Good job. Take away this high ground. They will sit there all day long. They will sit there all day long if you don't take that high ground back for them. You can be aggressive on this soldier. Boop him out of the healing station and do... Okay, so you lost the time in there I want to talk about. Really good play you can do is against a Soldier 76 if they play way too aggressive is you can fly at them with your rockets or even just like your regular damage, boop them out of the healing station. They have two options. To run away or to go back into their healing station. If they go back into your healing station, that plays into your favor. If they run away from their healing station, that plays into your favor. You also are a little bit closer to them and you have more ability to do that burst damage and you kill the soldier there. If you wait too long, the soldier can run away. It's exactly what's happening. Remember that. Another thing I'm seeing a lot, and I saw this actually in the last D.Va game we watched, you don't have to use your flight to go 2 feet to then stop your flight, and then you can kind of just move forward. You don't have to, like, waste your flight sometimes. Like, sometimes you're just doing that. I'm okay with that ult. Yeah, look at ult. Nice job. They have nowhere to go, and it bounces off the wall. Look at ult. The window time-in was, like, super unlucky. What I mean by that is, like, you, like, ulted when there was a window, but, like, the window was popped at the same time, or, like a 10th of a second before, so, like, Then someone will be like, oh, why'd you ult in front of a window? You're fine with that. I would not worry about that one bit. Don't worry about that. I'm getting out there. I would have recommended going backwards to your team, but at the same time, I'm okay with taking the high ground. Nice. I'd like you to use your DM a little bit sooner there, but I'm okay with that. Just remember that you can DM the Reaper's damage and help your Reaper win the 1v1. Watching. I have talked about this, by the way. Believe it or I initially talked about how in Gibraltar I don't see team fights happen here as much anymore, but now actually in top 500 has been a bit of an adjustment where sometimes you'll have the tank stay in the cart down there while everybody else holds high ground, and then you'll stay up there. So playing there as D.Va is okay. Just be ready to back away up into the high ground rather than just commit your whole suit. Okay? It's okay to play there. It's just you have to be ready to commit back to take high ground. You can get a minute off the clock, 2 minutes off the clock by just doing that. You see how the other team is now taking the high ground control on your team and has server control? This is going to be I don't know if it'll be a fairly difficult retake, but your team is certainly not in an advantage. Yep. I'll see. This is a hindsight ultimate, because, like, if you hold this, it's like, you know what? That's great. You got your mech back. If you don't, it's like, why did you use... Why ult there? You know what I mean? Hey, wait, why'd you ult there? What's going on? You know, sometimes with D.Va, like, both decisions there are probably fine, because there's going to be fights where you ult in a 3v5 and win, even without on the limb, and there's going to be times where you ult and you go, whoops. Doot, doot, doot. Drop taking high ground. What are you doing with this high ground? Just so you know, I do like your positioning currently. Now I want you to go in. Nice, good job. I would say right there, as D.Va was a really good sequence. Now, this is something that I've started to explain a little bit when we do spectating. You notice how you're playing on defense right now, how you went up on the high ground there, held the high ground on the bridge, did damage to their backline, and then went in aggressively? Why can't you do that on attack? Sometimes it's okay to play attack and defense the exact same way. Not all the time. Some maps are a little bit like, you can't play that way all the time, but like this is a situation where like that bridge scenario, we saw 2 different things happen on bridge. On attack, you just sat there in the cart doing nothing. On defense, you went on the high ground, maintained high ground control, did a bunch of damage, got aggressive when you needed to. You see the difference? And you had more vision. You could do the exact same thing on attack, and then you'll see more value. So, also, unlucky there that there's a box there now. Make sure next time you're with your Pharah on that ultimate. Sometimes people in chat will be like, why are you DMing your Pharah when they ult? That's not the enemy ult. It's because it DMs your Pharah from taking damage. You gotta be careful with, like, that ult there. I would rather see you fly up into the air with the ult. Nice follow up on the mail. That Tracer just got 2 pulse bombs that whole fight. We're watching here. I will say, even with like that ult usage, I think you still have played much better on defense than you did on attack. I'm watching. What? Yeah, see, like, I really think that if you start focusing on DMing your Pharah during that and flying towards your Pharah will get more value. You didn't even, like, try to go for your Pharah. You said you always have trouble controlling how far to send the D.Va out? Honestly, one of the easiest ways to go and learn that, literally just go into the training range and then just practice, like, look at, like, the meter on the flight. Practice that, and you'll have a much better understanding. Like you probably go in there for 5 minutes, and you'll already get an idea of, like, where, like, a D.Va ult will go. Nice ult. I still think the ult placements are somewhat interesting, but it worked, so I'm not, like, sometimes I'm not even gonna be like, oh, well, you could have went up into the air there. Like, it worked. Like I said, sometimes on D.Va, your ults become, like, a hindsight play. It's like, it's either a great ultimate or it's terrible, but it's, like, half the time it could be a great ultimate, and half the time it could be a terrible ult. Or not a good ult, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, it doesn't, that's D.Va ult for you. Yep. They have a Zarya now, so if you play D.Va against Zarya, you need to watch their bubbles. That's the most important part. You can actually do well against the Zarya if you watch their bubbles. Okay, DM, you don't even know what the next step you also can do is start to, like, understand what ultimates they have. So if you see a Reaper fly into your team, like, or just fade into your team, be prepared to DM that ultimate, because you can stop that ultimate, like, right away. So, yeah, now that you're going against Zarya on third point, this is one of these maps where I probably will make a hero swap here. Going up against Zarya on third's, like, extremely difficult. It's winnable, but it's tough. So, hero suggestions here. You could go, honestly, Orisa, Zarya, Sigma, whatever you want. What was that? Also be wary of running into their team out of spawn. That's not the ideal play there. I don't know what was happening right there. All right, so what I do want to say about this game right here, if your teammates are, like, getting mad about all of this right here on third point, this was a team effort. No one wanted to regroup and kept going in. This was not on anybody on your team. This was a team effort. Everybody just goes in one by one and doesn't reset. That was what that was. That was a team effort. All of you agreed to run to the point one by one and make it easy on that team. All right, you're committed here now. Like, you're committed to this play. How you're getting out here, I don't know. You're not getting out there. Don't. Listen. Mobility heroes on the low ground there. Maybe even Rein if you get. Sigma is a hero, and I talk about this with chat. You're not playing Sigma like Reinhardt. Your strength of Sigma is zoning out an area with your damage and your shield. Running at them and playing like you're playing Reinhardt will not go well. I mean, I can. It's all dependent on the team. Most of the time won't. You're just not. Sigma's one of those tanks that's much better at, like, mid-range and zoning out with damage than just running at them. Because it's just style of Sigma. What in the world? Yeah, I honestly, I'm looking at their comp right now. I would switch off Sigma. If I really had to look at, like, heroes to go here that you could go, I want to say Winston. I mean, honestly, Orisa's so strong right now. Until Orisa gets nerfed, which, I mean, by the time this video is on YouTube, Orisa might be nerfed by now, so pay attention for that, but... Also, next time, I'll talk about this very quickly. You need to use your interact key from spawn. So for anybody... This was added a couple seasons ago. So when you're in spawn doors for, like, I think the first 7 seconds, maybe it's like 5 seconds, you can use your interact key, and it will put you all the way back here with your team, and you all respawn. You can use your interact key. Next time, you need to do that. There's no point to go out here and stagger and get rolled. Use your interact key to go back to the other spawn to reset. I've liked that change. I've actually liked it. I really do. So, next time, that's probably the play you want to do. Does Sigma's eat not prevent the Zarya beam? Nope. Nope, you can stop right clicks and eat grab, but you can't stop the actual beam. You know, all you did there was stagger yourself. That just gives the other team an advantage. Remember, overtime spawns are longer. So, like, yeah, you got a little bit of value there. Yeah, you built a little bit of ult charge, but at the same time, unless their team hex up, you just gave them second point. Now, maybe you just get a good Sigma ult here and you lift them off the cart and it actually ended up being worth it. But looking at their ultimates, I feel like their team will... Just so you know, you can run back to spawn doors right now and hit that button. If you run back to spawn, see what I would do if I was in that spot right there, I would try to book it back to the spawn doors in that amount of time and hit that spam, hit that interact button. All right, so what's the chances Sigma ults this and just gets them all off the card, chat? Really not that high. Your team has a lot of ults, though. All right, so that's what happened, yeah. That's literally what happened. All right, Ramatra on attack. Let's see how this one goes. Here we go. You notice how their team is all set up on the high ground right now? Like, it is okay to give up a little bit of cart time to go take that high ground or take that away. And that's what's happened a lot of this time on first point. Your whole team just wants to, like, fight this low ground and never take the high ground, so the other team benefits so much from that. Like, the other team benefits so much from that high ground. Now they're dropping to the low ground, which is going to go in your favor if they do. But you have a Bastion top left. You have a Sigma now pushing you, which a Sigma, in theory, should be back in spawn real quick. Position in. Be careful. You're in the middle of the open. Start to think about where to go in the map to survive that. You're in the middle of the open. They can roll you. Here we go. Well, the good news is your teammates got on the limb. That's a tough one. That is where, again, I talk about positioning. Hey, wait, you used the button. Let's go. Where, like, you kind of were just in the middle of a team that could roll you. Yeah, the interact key, that's what I'm talking about. You see, you just used it. Use that in other situations. I wouldn't ult this, by the way. I would save your ult. Do not ult this, because you have an opportunity to win this here. Do not ult. Nice job. Good aggression, by the way. That's taking map control. That's taking away the... Also, you see how they've staggered because of that time? You now have one of the best overtime ultimates you could ask for. Outside of, like... I mean, Sigma ult's really good, too. But you have one of the best ults you could ask for. What's that Ashe do? I like your patience here with the ult. I actually do. As I talk about patience, I watch you run at a Bastion with low HP. Get the elim on Ana. You don't need to worry about your ult at that point. Get the elim with Ana. That's already good. That's already good. You don't need to run into him after that. Hide. Play behind the wall. Go for the cart. Like... Sometimes you don't need to get 5 with your ultimate. Getting the Ana was already enough for your team. And there was people on cart you could have gotten anyway. All right, so you got the dub. And I will say this after watching this in general. So after watching this in general, what you did a lot of the time is you never went for map control. You didn't go for map control. That was like a first problem on that, right? As D.Va, it was just map control to me. I feel like your position and like your map control is really where you were struggling at. You didn't know what you wanted to do. Which is probably why they would see and be like, what are you doing? Like, you're not going aggressive. Like, so start to focus a little bit more on map control. high grounds. Use your interact key at a spawn when you're staggering. Things like that, and I think you'll be a little bit better. That's what I saw. I think it's more along the lines of you didn't really want to go make a play. If your teammates made a play, you were then willing to go make a play. And sometimes that happens in Overwatch. You can't make a play, like especially in the Orisa meta right now. Both Orisas just javelin spin and like wave hello to each other while waiting for something to happen. But like, that's not happening in this game. There's no Orisa versus Orisa, so you have so much time to take map control, take high ground. I think a good example to look back on is on defense when you play D.Va. Second point, went on top of the bridge. Remember that? You went on top of the bridge. You had good vision. You had good DM usage. You knew when to be aggressive. That was what I was talking about. Do that more, and I think you'll start to improve a lot more. If you like this video, make sure to hit the like button. Hope you've all been enjoying these. It's been a ton of fun. Sub to the YouTubes, all three of them if you haven't. We have a lot of awesome videos on there. If you want to submit your own spectating, look in the description below. My Discord's there. And we have a channel in the Discord. Also, we record all these live on stream, so follow the stream. Stop by. We have a ton of fun. Follow everything. With that being said, hope you all have an amazing day/night.